Hello everybody, and welcome back to part 2 and the final part of our full game samurai build guide. So starting off this part, let's go ahead and go after our first talisman now that we have our weapon. We're going to be getting the Godfrey icon here in Altus Plateau in the Golden Lineage Everjail. We're going to be fighting Godfroy, who is basically the same boss as Godric. He's basically just a reskinned version of the same boss we already fought in Stormvale Castle. He'll have the same moveset. The only difference with this boss is that he's not going to have a phase 2, so he's not going to have any fire damage. He will do the same attacks as you'll see. He'll do his swipes, he'll do the ground slam, he'll also do Stormcaller. All of his attacks are easily dodgeable. And from a distance, you can go in with a fully charged Witching Hour Slash. The reason that we're getting this talisman, the Godfrey icon, is that the first part of our weapon skill, the damage will be boosted by 15%. As you can see, it is a chargeable Ash of War. So if you fully charge it, we'll be doing an extra 15% damage. Now eventually we'll be getting the Shard of Alexander. But until we get the Shard of Alexander, and even after you get it, depending on the situation, this is definitely a good talisman to add to the build. So here we take down Godfroy. We're rewarded with the talisman. You can go ahead and slot it in instead of the Ritual Sword talisman. Or you can stick with the Ritual Sword talisman, but with the Godfrey icon, you won't need to stay at full health. So now let's go back where we left off before we went to the DLC last part. We had just finished taking down Godfrey. So here we are in Morgoth's Arena. I'm not really good at fighting this boss, so the best thing I can say is to stay far away and try to use the weapon skill to lunge in. Watch for this sword attack. I like to unlock and look up in the air to see where they're coming from. Again, you can use a fully charged weapon skill to try to lunge into Morgoth. Here he is going to phase 2. You can get a couple of hits in while he's phase changing, but watch out for the explosion. You'll be able to get a fully charged weapon skill after he does the explosions. And just keep on aggressive, avoiding his attacks. Watch for his grab attack, and you'll take him down easily. Switch to the Golden Scarab if you so desire. With Morgoth down, let's go ahead and level up. You're going to want to put 2 points into Faith. Next, we're going to be heading to the Albinauric village here on this mark in Liurnia of the Lakes. Go west from the Lascar ruin site of Grace. You're going to talk here to Albus. You're going to convince him to give you his half of the Halig Tree medallion. Once he generously hands it over, we're going after the other half of the Halig Tree secret medallion, the left half. This is going to be in the mountaintops of the giants in Castle Sol. Here it is on the map. The Freezing Lake side of Grace will be the nearest Grace if you haven't been to Castle Sol yet. But east of Freezing Lake Grace, we're going to attack an invisible scarab. We're going to be taking this scarab out because it holds the Seppuku Ash of War, which we will be putting onto a rapier that we will purchase from the round table. So just go ahead and wait right here near this mark. You'll see the footprints in the snow. Once you see that, go ahead and tap your weapon skill and you'll kill the invisible scarab for your reward, the Seppuku Ash of War. Let's head back to the round table. You're going to get invaded since you picked up the first half of the Halig Tree secret medallion. This fight should be easily trivialized though with your weapon skill. And since you're going to be pretty much over leveled. As you'll see, you'll take the enemy down quite easily. So once you're allowed entry into the round table, go to the Twin Maiden Husks, purchase the rapier. We'll be using this weapon to put on the Ash of War seppuku because it's the lightest weapon that you can put that weapon skill on. So from the Site of Grace at Castle Sol or at the round table, go into the Ash of War menu, choose the rapier, put on seppuku. The affinity won't matter. We'll be using this to add to our buffing routine. This will be essential in proccing the White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exaltation's buffs before you go into the boss fog, and you'll just be starting off every fight with even more damage. So here's a buffing routine again. You'll drink your flask, put on Golden Vow, put on Flame Grant Me Strength, switch to the rapier, use seppuku, switch back to your main weapon. I like to two-hand it, you don't have to though. At this point you could refill your FP and HP, but I like to go in and get one attack first and maximize our FP usage. As you can see there, we were able to take down the first knight with one fully charged weapon skill. As for the second knight, not only because he has a shield, but we did lose the buff from the Lord of Blood's Exaltation and White Mask. But we'll still easily take him down with a backstab, or you could have done a light heavy or a couple of light attacks to take him down. As for O'Neil, watch for him to do his spinning attack. That's when he's going to buff himself and do jump attacks with his prosthesis. This will do lightning damage and can cause frost buildup. You want to jump over that attack, or you can dodge into him at the last second. Right here, he's going to do a long windup and then dash at you. This is going to be your window of opportunity to get as many fully charged weapon skills as you can. As you see, you'll proc bleed on him once he's up from his stance. Just keep on dodging his attacks. Use the weapon skill. Use tap heavies. The tap heavies are really great for proccing the multi-hit talismans because they hit twice. And just keep on dancing around Niall, and you should easily take him down. With Niall down, go ahead and go further into his boss arena. There's going to be a lift that you can go up. There's going to be the left half of the Haligtree Secret Medallion. You're going to use that at the Grand Lift of Rold. But let's go ahead and level up first. You're going to have enough runes to put 1 point into Faith. We want to put 3 points into Faith. So let's go ahead and pop our runes that we picked up from the DLC. You should have at least the Marika's rune, the rune of an unsung hero. If you need to pop some remembrances, you can do that too. But you will have easily enough to get another 3 points into Faith. Now this next part is optional. If you like the drip that the enemy that was wielding this weapon is wearing, you can go back into the DLC and in Bonnie Jail, just southeast of Bonnie Village, I'm going to show you the exact route on how to pick up this armor set. I just think it looks cool. It doesn't add any damage. It actually has really low poise. So if you don't want to use it, you can just stick with any random armor set to make sure that you have 51 poise. So here we are going into Bonnie Jail. It's going to be sped up, so if you need to slow it down, go ahead and slow it down. But I'm going to show you the full route on how to get this armor set. Again, this is completely optional. So here, just as ground loot, is the Armor of Night, Gauntlets of Night, and the Greaves of Night. Now I'm going to keep the white mask on, but for the rest of the playthrough, until we get to the last boss in the DLC, I'm going to be using this Knight set. Again, this is completely optional, doesn't add any damage, and I'm just using it for the looks. So feel free to use any other armor set you'd like, or stick to any armor set that gives you 51 poise or more. So let's go ahead and go back to the base game, into the snowfields. Here at this minor Erd tree, we're going to fight the Putrid Avatar. This avatar is going to drop one of the essential physic tiers that we're going to be using, the Thorny Crack tier. The Thorny Crack tier can boost successive attack damage by up to 20% at the highest tier. When mixed in the physic, it's going to last for 3 minutes. So with the Putrid Avatar down, you now have the Thorny Crack tier. Let's go ahead and warp outside of the Fire Giants arena in the mountaintops of the Giants. Go ahead and spend as many golden runes as you need, so you can level up Faith for another 5 levels. This will put you at 25. You won't have to use the Faith tier for Golden Vow, and you can swap in the Thorny Crack tier. So you're going to be using the Thorny Crack tier and the Dexterity Knot Crystal tier. Once you're all set, go ahead and go into Fire Giants Arena. Here's the buffing routine one more time. You're going to use your Physic, Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Seppuku. For Fire Giant, since even if you bleed him, you won't proc the White Mask or the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, I swapped out the White Mask. This is not necessary at all. I just did it for the looks. You can, however, swap out the Lord of Blood's Exaltation and put in the Ritual Sword Talisman if you like. You'll see though that you'll still be doing monstrous damage without the Ritual Sword Talisman. Down goes Fire Giant, and again, to get the extra runes, swap in the gold scarab. Let's go ahead and level up. We're going to put 1 point into mind and 1 point into dexterity. The next boss we'll be fighting after you go into Crumbling Fair Missoula is going to be the Godskin Duo. Make sure you equip the sleep pots. You're going to see with the sleep pots equipped, you're going to easily trivialize this fight. So after they're asleep, that's when you're going to want to put on all of your buffs. Down goes the Godskin Duo, and we are getting closer to completing the base game. But let's go ahead and level up first. Let's go ahead and put 2 points into dexterity. With the Godskin Duo out of the way, we can go ahead and pick up our last talisman, the Shard of Alexander. So go first to the Star Scourge Radon Arena. Then you're going to go to the west side of Volcano Mountain in Mount Gelmir. And last, you're going to talk to Alexander here in Crumbling Fair Missoula, right on this spot. To get in the third spot that we marked on the map, you're going to need 2 stone sword keys. This is going to unlock the fog gate. You can go up the elevator. At the very top and to the right, you're going to see Alexander. Go ahead and talk to him. He's going to want to spar for a bit. After you take him out, he's going to give you a sad little speech. But after giving you his speech, he's going to give you the best talisman, in my opinion, in the game, Shard of Alexander. This is going to boost all weapon skills by 15%. You can swap out any of the 3 talismans, such as a Godfrey Icon, Millicent's Prosthesis, or the Winged Sword Insignia for the Shard of Alexander. Me, I went with the Godfrey Icon, but it's up to you. Next up, we're going to fight Malekith. With Malekith, first phase, you want to try to dodge side to side, and this downward attack is the one you want to bait out. You want to walk backwards from it, fully charge your weapon skill, and get ready to dodge. When he does his claw attack there, as you can see, you can jump it or you can roll it. So this next hit's going to take him to phase 2. You want to step back towards the camera, run in after the swipe, get a fully charged weapon skill. If you can get a few light attacks or a tap heavy attack, that would be great also. But pretty much you want to stick next to him. You want to bait out that swipe. If he does Destined Death, you want to run behind him. Get a tap weapon skill in or a tap heavy, or any attack that you'd like. Dodge side to side. Stay near him. And as you'll see, he'll keep on doing that slow slam down, which you can easily punish. with Malekith down, let's go ahead and level up. You're going to want to put 3 points into dexterity. Next up, we're going to have Gideon. With Gideon, you want to start attacking after he says the word Lord. So get a fully charged weapon skill, another fully charged weapon skill, and there you have it. Here you'll definitely have time to switch to the gold scarab. Now let's go ahead and level up. You're going to want to use more runes to complete levels. You're going to spend all those runes into leveling up dexterity by 4. So once you're done sorting out your levels, the next boss is going to be Godfrey First Elden Lord. This is going to be similar to the Godfrey fight that you did right before Morgoth. Just jump his stomp attacks, try to dodge behind him. If he does that slam down, you want to just jump away from him and wait for him to come to you. If you do a jump attack from his stomp, you want to use a light attack and not a jumping heavy. For the Horalu phase, you want to run towards the camera, fully charge your weapon skill. You may or may not get a stance break, but you'll definitely do a significant amount of damage. If he does get a chance to do his ground slam, you can roll it, jump over it, but get ready to attack because that's going to be your window. Down goes Horalu, and you only have one more boss left to beat the base game. But let's go ahead and level up first. So you're going to want to put a total of 3 levels into dexterity. You'll have enough to get 2 levels from the runes you got from the fight. And by consuming the boss remembrance, you'll be able to complete your 3rd level. Again, we're going to put it all into dexterity. Now for this next fight, both of the enemies are going to be bleed resist. So this is where it doesn't matter whether you wear the white mask or not, but you're going to want to use the Godfrey icon instead of the Lord of Blood's exaltation. Your buffing order will still be the same, but after you use seppuku, you're going to swap out the Lord of Blood's exaltation for the Godfrey icon. Down goes Elden Beast, and you did it. You beat the base game using the Samurai class without having to respec, going into the DLC for the Sword of Night, and just wrecking the base game. Now let's go ahead and level up. We're going to put 2 points into Dexterity and 4 points into Faith. Next, in Liurnia, just south of the Grand Lift of Dectus, we're going to pick up a new incantation, Howl Shabriri. Howl Shabriri is what we'll be using for the rest of the game. We're going to be using this instead of Flame Grant Me Strength, as it gives us plus 25% to all damage. However, we do take an extra 30% damage by using it. So if you don't like the damage received penalty, just go ahead and stick with Flame Grant Me Strength. Just east of the Lascar Ruins, we're going to go into a cellar and we're going to pick up the Faith Talisman. We're going to be using this to hot swap so we can have the requirements for Howl Shabriri. Here in the DLC, at the Divine Lion Beast, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So we'll drink our Physic, put on Golden Vow, use Howl Shabriri, use Seppuku, refill our FP, switch to our weapon, switch out the 2-finger heirloom back to the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, and go into the boss fight. Down goes the Divine Beast. Let's go ahead and level up. We're going to put 1 point into Faith. And next up, we'll be going after Rolana. She'll be in Castle Ensis. Down goes Rolana, and good job, because she is probably one of the toughest bosses in the DLC. So let's go ahead and spend our boss remembrances for the runes. And with the runes that we got from Rolana, we're going to put all of those points into Faith. So it should be +2 Faith, and we are 1 away from meeting the requirements of Howl Shabriri. Next up, we're going to fight the Golden Hippopotamus. Down goes the golden hippo. Let's go ahead and spend his runes. We're going to put one more point into faith, and then we're going to put another point into dexterity. And from here on out, we're going to be putting all of our points into dexterity. Let's go ahead and upgrade our Shadow Tree Blessing as well, since we got some blessings from the hippo. Next up, we're going to have Mesmer. This is one of the mandatory bosses that we need to fight in order to get to Promised Consort Radahn's arena. Down goes Mesmer, and now you have his kindling. Let's go ahead and put 1 point into endurance and 2 points into dexterity. Next up, we're going to fight Commander Gaius. The main reason we'll be fighting him is he's going to be gatekeeping 5 Shadow Tree fragments. We're trying to get our Shadow Tree Blessing level as high as possible before we get to Promised Consort Radahn. After you take down Gaius, go ahead and jump on Torrent. Take this path that just opened up. There's going to be a huge chalice. In front of this huge chalice, there's going to be 5 Shadow Tree fragments. This is going to be enough to get our Shadow Tree Blessing level up to 16. So go ahead and pick those up. Make your way towards Ramina. You can level up before you go to her arena though. We're going to use any golden runes or any boss remembrances so we can put 2 points into dexterity. And as I stated, we're going to level up our Shadow Realm Blessing up to 16. Once you're done doing so, go ahead and walk through the boss fog and go after Romina. With Romina down, we have only one major boss left. Now there is a gang squad we'll have to deal with, but let's level up first. Use the boss remembrances for the runes, and let's go ahead and put those levels into dexterity. So you should be at 63 dexterity now. Run all the way through Enter Ilum up to the cleansing chamber anteroom. You should pick up enough Shadow Tree fragments to get up to blessing level 17. Here, if you'd like, there's going to be a ground summon, the Sanguine Noble. He can help you out against the gank squad. The gank squad is going to be Needle Knight Letta. They're going to be gatekeeping Promised Consort Radahn. So I definitely recommend using the ground summon. Definitely helps out. Otherwise, it's going to be you versus Letta and Dryleaf Dane and Hornsent. As you can see with the summon, this gank squad is less of a gank squad. You should easily be able to take them out. With Letta and crew down, there is only one boss left in the DLC for you to complete both the base game and the DLC with the Sword of Night. We'll put 2 points into dexterity, and with Millicent's prosthesis and the dexterity not crystal tier, we'll be hitting the last soft cap of 80. And before we go into this next boss arena, let's head back into the Rao ruins. We're going after another talisman that's going to help us out. Here in the Templetown ruins, we're going to be a chest with the two-handed sword talisman. This is going to immensely help us against Promised Consort Radahn. This is optional, but I definitely recommend it. For the talisman loadout, I recommend swapping out the Lord of Blood's Exaltation for the two-handed sword talisman. Pretty much any talisman swap that you do though is definitely going to help out, as it's going to boost the damage on our heavy attacks and our light attacks. Also swapped out the armor for the Royal Remains armor, Lionel's gauntlets, Lionel's greaves. This is going to put us at 59 poise, way above the recommended 51 poise threshold. Again, you can swap out the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, or Millicent's prosthesis, or the Winged Sword insignia. I do recommend leaving in the Shard of Alexander and the two-handed sword talisman. And here it is. This is going to be the last fight of the DLC that will be shown in this video. You're going to see that although we do struggle a little bit against Radahn, it still is a very fun fight. With this weapon, it is immensely fun, not too overpowered, and just overall a really great time. So we're nearing the end of the fight. If you made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Let me know if you tried this build out and what you thought of it. If there's any ways that we can improve it, or if there's any routing that we could have done differently. Also, Monday through Thursday, I stream live here and on Twitch. There's going to be links in the description. We also have a Discord. There's going to be a link in the description as well. Hope to catch you live. And if not, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.